Yo guys, what's good? It's Nate. I'm just coming back with another market update. To be honest, there's not really been a lot happening this week. We've kind of, we got that push up earlier in the week. We took profits on our longs. We mapped out the short, but did not take it. I don't know why I didn't take it, but to be honest, at the time, I have no idea. But if you did take it, well done. I didn't take it, but I should have. But it's not the end of the world. We still took profit. We still made money this week, so I can't complain. So Bitcoin, it's still in the same area. We're still getting this same reaction off this weekly order block. People are going to call for a bear market. The amount of shit I saw on Twitter yesterday was ridiculous. The issue you have on Twitter, right, is you have people crying over key high time frame levels on a lower time frame. So for example, 107.5, which is fairly key. It's like sort of like your line in the sand here. This is obviously a very key level on higher time frames. We're talking like weekly, 3-day, daily. You have people crying over these levels on hourlies, 4 hourlies, and maybe even lower. I don't know. But it's very easy to figure out who's retarded and not, basically. So anyone that you see crying over these levels that have not been breached in a higher time frame, block them, unfollow them. Don't listen to their advice. I don't think you should listen to someone else's advice, full stop. But, if you're kind of looking for someone for confluence or, just to kind of reinforce your idea a bit, let's say, unfollow that person, right? They're retarded. They have no clue what they're on about. This order block is your best friend, right? Until this is broken, until there is a close under this order block, you stay bullish, right? This is your make or break area. Anything under that, okay, maybe you reconsider where the market's going to go. But until that point, don't listen to the bullshit. You'll see people calling for a bear market just because pumps are getting retraced. So fucking what? Just because they're getting chopped up, just because they're losing money, doesn't mean it's over, right? A bear market is not subjective to one person. A bear market is a whole thing as a collective, right? Just because one person's losing money, just because your favorite KOL's losing money, it doesn't mean fucking shit. It means he's retarded, right? This area, this weekly order block, I'm going to drill it into your head. This is your best friend. Unless it's lost, you're fine. If we do lose it, it's not fine, okay? We maybe enter bear market scenarios then. But until that point, we're good. We're still bullish. The structure is still very, very good. And as you can see, we're still bouncing very strongly off this area. So you have nothing to complain about, right? I think I put a post on Twitter up yesterday about this, somewhere around 107s. That's where I entered longs anyway. You could have got a slightly more favorable entry, 106s. But I think anything in the box is a good long area. You take that long and you hold it. Your invalidation is sort of a close, maybe under 102s. If you want to be a bit more on the safe side under the order block, that's cool. Like 98k, you do you. But at the end of the day, I think any longs in this box is safe. We're not in a bear market. Don't listen to the doomer bullshit, right? You're going to hear it a lot and a lot. These are just people that are losing money, which is fine. Not everyone in the market makes money. That's cool. But it's very blatantly obvious how emotional and how upset people are getting over these minor moves and who clearly don't understand how to manage their money and how to trade. It says a lot. And this mainly comes from a lot of the guys who made money off meme coins, right? Their niche is meme coins. Their niche is, pushing whatever fucking dog or cat it is and making, maybe 100 grand off that. That's cool. If that's your thing, fine. But don't fucking post doomer bullshit over a lower time frame close about a higher time frame key area. It makes no sense. It's pointless, right? It just shows how retarded you are. So basically, take away from that, order block, good. Anything under that, not good. I think you can just stab longs in this area and I think you're fairly safe, Your risk is pretty well defined, your invalidation is pretty clear, like anything in this, like under that area, you're in trouble. Until then, you're fine though. Nothing to worry about. We're still in the same situation we were last week. Just because pumps are retracing does not mean we're in a bear market. It doesn't work like that, right? A slight bit of volatility doesn't mean shit, okay? Is it harder to trade? Yes. Can you hold trades for as long? No. Do I think you should be holding spot meme bags or spot alt bags in this time? Personally, no. But if you want to do that, you do that, It's your money. I can't tell you what you do with it. It's your choice. But at the end of the day, this order block is your best friend. I'm just going to drill it into your head. Anyone who watches these videos, this area is it's so key, right? This is the weekly time frame, right? And we're just constantly rejecting this order block, which is exactly what you want to see. You can't complain at this price action. It's perfect. Anyone who's just not staring at an hourly time frame has an idea of what's going on. Your view should be very higher time frame in this point in time. Obviously, you can take intraday trades on the hourly, 4 hourly. That's up to you. That's cool. But just because a higher time frame level is breached on a lower time frame is fucking pointless, right? Like, it's boring. It's all I see is doomer bullshit. Don't listen to it, right? Just follow the plan. If you're not so experienced with trading and you kind of look to someone to kind of copy trade, because that's what I did to begin with, I was kind of clueless. I resorted to using people on Twitter to kind of reinforce my trades and kind of reinforce my ideas. And then when they didn't agree with my idea, I'd kind of panic and be like, oh my God, my favorite person doesn't agree with my idea. Once you grow out of that mindset and realize you just need to trade for yourself and trade what you think and trade what you see, your life is going to be 10 times easier and you are going to trade a million times better. And I mean that because a lot of people will. So let's say, for example, you have a long in from where we longed yesterday, 107s, okay? And someone, maybe it goes slightly under to like 106 and your favorite KOL is like, oh my God, we've had a higher time frame close under 107.5, guys. It's over. GG, the lock-in's over. It's fucking pointless, right? You might have a bias on the weekly time frame, for example, and their bias might be on the hourly or the 4 hourly, but a lot of these people don't clearly specify these things. And I feel like it's not exactly disingenuous because, you should be trading for yourself, but it's just kind of fucking retarded. I can't lie, but you can't point the blame at them for what they're saying because it doesn't work like that. Every trade is your own fault, your own doing. You can't shift the blame on anyone else because you'll just forever lose money. Right? You need to take the blame yourself and take accountability and realize, if your trade is based off someone else's bias or someone else's idea, then you maybe don't have the confidence in that trade. You maybe it does, Bitcoin drops another 1%. Maybe you're not so confident in that trade because you didn't believe in it. You didn't come up with that idea and you didn't take the trade. You essentially just copied another man, which is gay as fuck, right? It's the gayest shit you can do. But has everyone done it? Yeah. I've done it. That's how I originally started out. And I lost a fuck ton of money. Right? So the quicker you get out of that mindset and the quicker you start learning analysis for yourself and learning how to read the chart and learning what levels really matter, I think you'll do a million times better. It helped me a million times. I know for a fact it will help you a million times. All you got to do is just block that noise out. Look, it's cool to have compliments with someone. It's cool to have the same bias as someone. But if their idea flips because of their indicator and they flip bearish because a certain level's been breached, but that level is not the same on your chart, like that's not your invalidation, then don't listen to it. Don't let those people influence you. Don't let those people influence your trading. You will lose money, right? It's just the easiest way to zero out and it's pointless. The quicker you cut out all the noise and all the fucking bullshit, you're just going to excel and you're going to do so much better. So that's it for Bitcoin, really. There's not a lot to say. The same level, we're still constantly rejecting off it. It's fine. There's nothing to worry about. Still bullish, still very bullish structure. Nothing to worry about. ETH, same situation. Back in this weekly order block, it's not ideal, but for anyone who was sidelined, there's your opportunity. You take this now. Whether you got in at 3,600, I'm pretty sure I spoke about this like the first video. Maybe I spoke about 3,600 being quite a good long. I don't remember. But anything in this box, I still think is a good long. Even if you were to get long here at this level, for example. But if I were to take a long on ETH, I definitely would drill down slightly, like maybe come to the 3-day and get an idea. Because you still got this order block here. This 3-day order block still pretty present. But ideally, what I'd want on ETH, so if we were to take this, for example, let's just stick this on. Okay, your stops here, under here. You kind of want this low reclaimed, okay? So you can see we've had a few we had a close in, tried to push up a bit higher, next candle just closed straight under. So if we can get a solid couple closes back within this area, I think you're really good. I think you're absolutely chilling. You can, if you're really risk averse, you can set your stops 3,400, 3,300 under that level. That's cool, So it's the same situation with Bitcoin. If that level's not breached, you're bullish. If it's breached, you're bearish. That's fine. Until that point, don't listen to no bullshit and just trade you, right? Am I going to take an ETH long? No. I'm only in a Bitcoin long right now. I'm not too interested in this ETH long currently, but it's definitely a good trade to take if you were to take it. you know, but your ideal situation would kind of be a good close above 4K is good, is a good sign. You may be able to retarget this area here, like 4.75K. But I think if you just want to take a long here and kind of just go for the range reclaim at 4K, and go for it. I don't think it's a bad idea. I think, you know, you're still within this 3-day order block. It's definitely a good idea. And, you know, anything under that, then yeah, you're in trouble. But until then, you're good, you know. Stay bullish, basically, is the point I'm trying to get across. If you want to take longs, now's a good time to take longs. You shouldn't have taken longs when Bitcoin was at 116K. If you took longs there, just because you FOMO'd in, you were like, oh shit, my favorite KOL said it was over, but now the price is up 5-10%. And you took a long there, you're a fucking idiot. I feel like, I'm not gonna lie, this market is probably, with these conditions, sorry, are probably the easier to trade. Like, yes, it's more volatile, but I think as long as you know what you're looking at and you understand how to read a chart to some degree, you're good. Like, my analysis is very simple. It's like, I'm gonna say it's every fucking video and you're gonna get bored of it. My analysis is so simple. It's just, I trade ranges, support, resistance, order blocks. Just the simple shit. It's so simple, it's so easy to read, but it still works, right? You'll have people who trade a lot more data oriented who may outtrade me, and I'm fine with that. You know, I don't care about that. But maybe, will I pivot to data and order flow one day? Maybe. You know, I might do one day. But for now, I'm going to stick with what works for me and what's good. So if you have a strategy that works for you, that's not just some retarded fucking gamble, then stick with it. You know, if it's winning and you're winning trades, then I don't see why not. But ETH, anyway, ETH's still looking good. I have no complaints. You know, if you really want a long here, I'd take it. I personally think you should have taken the Bitcoin long yesterday. I understand probably not everyone follows my Twitter. You should, because I do post quite a few updates there. And, you know, I only post videos every few days, so you might miss a few trades, but that's fine. But anyway, ETH, good. I can't complain. Still bullish. What if you want longs, take longs in this box. Hope for a range reclaim about 4K and then push to like 4.7. But that's about it, though, guys. I can't lie. There's not too much to update on. We've kind of just been chopping in the same area. It's nothing special. You know, the same idea we've had since last week is still in place. You know, these order blocks, they're proving very crucial levels. We're constantly rejecting off these levels and constantly putting in volatile price action at these levels. So I think as I said, we're still bullish. Nothing to worry about. If you want to take longs here on alts, you can. I'm personally in the Bitcoin trade from 107s, targeting like 115s. You know, this 3-day order block we talked about, we did reject hard off it, and I didn't take the fucking short like a bot, even though I should have, because I laid it out so clearly, and I literally said, what did I say? It was like something along the lines of, you could take this short here. It's probably an area it reacts, but I'm not going to take it because I can't be bothered and I'm bullish. That was a retarded fucking statement. Should I have taken it? Yeah, but I mean, I still made money. I still took profit at the right time, so I don't care. Okay, I'm in a long here. You know, your invalidation is very clearly laid out. But my target is like 115. I'd expect a reaction there, whether it's just whether it's just something like this. Will we push up? Maybe get a slight rejection back down, and then back up and in, and then maybe a bit of chop around in here and then go up. So what I'd be going for is I'd take profit at like here, at this first push up, 115. And then either we push back down, maybe we come back down to here. You re-long here, that's fine. You know, we just pretty much repeat the same trade again. Or if I take profit here at the 115 and then we get a close here above this order block, I'd happily re-long here, target new highs. I'd be totally fine with that. So yeah, guys, that's about it really. That's sort of all I've got to discuss. The market's still fucking pretty boring. Don't force a trade. Like, you're just gonna lose money. Your goal's just to survive now. Take minimal trades. Like, just own. I'm only taking higher time frame trades. Like, I just think if you trade in lower time frames, you're gonna get chopped to fuck. Like, it's been so volatile, and I feel like it's been a lot more favorable to the higher time frame traders. Like, obviously there are people killing it on the lower time frames, the intradays, but it's not for me. I don't want to be glued to my screen for 12 plus hours a day. But yeah, guys, that's about it. You know, if you like the video, like, subscribe. Sorry it was a bit of a boring one. You know, there's not been too much to update on market-wise, but, you know, I hope you guys stay safe out there. Peace.